What a shocking announcement to suddenly run into. Yes, it looks like Macross has a new anime project just around the corner, and I really do feel like this is going to be big. I just have a feeling deep inside, the more that I think about this new project, the more I get really, really excited. Now, for all that we actually know right now, because it's not much, and I want to get that out of the way so that if those that don't like to hear my ramblings can move on. But after the final day of Sankyo Presents Walkure Final Live Tour 2023 concert, I just love the name of their concert sometimes, it was announced that Macross will be getting a new animation project. And not only that, now here's the really interesting stinger at the end of this announcement. Production will be done by Sunrise. Yes, Studio Sunrise. That's where it starts to get me a little excited. Now, to give people a little bit of history lesson here, because I'm actually pretty surprised about how little people know about Macross. Now, even myself, not really watched many of the Macrosses. I mean, I watched the original ones that released over here as some weird Frankenstein project, but I at least know what they're about. And they're typically, like, take mecha, romance, war, and space drama and put idols in it. It's just this weird monstrosity of everything popular in Japan, especially back in the day. It's this Frankenstein thing. But unfortunately, I think the reason why people know so little about Macross, even though it does have like this really strong cult following, is obviously the fact that it's been stuck in licensing hell for the longest time. And yes, that's partly to do with this little company called Harmony Gold. Now, yes, like 2 years ago, which is the unfortunate part of this whole thing, it was finally announced that Big West, Studio Nue, and Harmony Gold came to an agreement. Like, they were finally like, hey, we're finally going to start distributing this stuff. And then we had a whole bunch of announcements where all these different companies, like Right Stuff and stuff, were all coming out to say, we're going to release all of the Macross that we currently have. Now, I haven't heard a peep of that stuff since then, really, which is the unfortunate part. I was super excited when I heard that. I'm like, yes, everything's getting released. Everything that has not been able to come to the West is finally getting released. Then crickets. Now, the reason why this particular announcement has me excited, now, yes, we've had some Macross come out since that announcement, but they were still sort of being produced under that previous issue that we had, which was Harmony Gold. But this will be the first possible TV anime project. We haven't got the announcement of the actual format. This could be another movie. It could be a TV series. We don't know quite yet. But this could be our first case of, hopefully, an actual full global release of a Macross since way back in the day. And that's where it has me excited. I'm hoping this will probably be the first point in which we really get a bump out of this is Macross. It could literally be a rebirth of the actual franchise. Now, again, I do want to emphasize the fact that Macross isn't for everybody. And I don't even know if it will be something for me because I haven't really been consuming it since it's been kind of stuck in licensing hell. I just sort of been I guess giving that as an excuse for not really jumping into the franchise since what was originally released way back in the day. But I do have a hope that based on what I've seen of it with the clips and stuff, that it's something that I'm going to probably enjoy. I just need it to have been given a chance in the West. Somebody to have it and us to actually have a release. And again, I'm hoping this will be it. This is going to get a full global release, hopefully. We'll have it streaming everywhere, and people will be able to experience it for the first time. And I think why this might be a big rebirth is that Studio Sunrise is working on it. As far as I know, based on my searching, Sunrise has never worked on a Macross. And for those who don't know, Sunrise is literally the studio for mecha. There's no other studios out there. And unfortunately, back in the day, when there was a lot of money being pumped into anime, we had a ton of mecha anime. Sci-fi was big back here. And yes, technically Gundam jumped on that whole franchise too. Sunrise like, hey, let's do the Gundam thing too. We'll sell Gunpla and everything. It became sort of the core thing for Sunrise. Yeah, yes, they have tons of other properties that make them boatloads of money, but Gundam's one of them. And Gundam's really centered around mecha, Gunpla, merchandising. But what was sort of created back there in the Studio Sunrise was the peak people for doing mecha design. Like, they have the best of mechanical designers. And unfortunately, over time, all the other studios lost that, and they shifted to CGI. And so, yes, I'm being very general here, but these days it really feels like the only company that has mecha designers like mechanical designers in their teams is Sunrise. All the other studios have left it behind to just move to CGI. And so what better company to handle the rebirth of Macross than Studio Sunrise, the pinnacle of mecha design and animation. Like, again, technically one of the only studios that on a regular basis is releasing anime that doesn't fully utilize CGI. Yes, Gundam does utilize CGI. They still use it, especially in their movies. They're really good at hiding it, but at the same time, they still do utilize traditionally drawn mecha designs. And not just drawing it and animating it, but also just the designs themselves are really, really cool. So again, it has my hope that if Sunrise takes this over, they can give it a breath of fresh air. And I honestly do believe that Sunrise does some of the best mecha anime stories as well. They could get some really good people on board to write a story. They haven't quite indicated to us exactly who all is going to be working on the project. If it's going to be something that the original team, like Studio Nue and stuff like that, are going to be actually working on it and producing a story, or if they're just going to be completely hands-on. You guys make something. Make something out of this, and let some new creative minds take it, and again, give it a new breath of fresh air. Give it a new leaf in life. And again, might actually draw in new audiences to the franchise. They're technically doing that right now with Gundam. Gundam with the Witch of Mercury is definitely pulling in a new audience. And yes, that new audience is experiencing Gundam for the first time and experiencing all of the things within Gundam that typically destroys you, but it almost felt like the beginning of Witch of Mercury was to draw on that new audience. Look at these two cute characters. Look, they're Yuri. Come on in here and enjoy this new Gundam series. And then they hit you with the actual story. And again, that might be something they'll actually do with the Macross franchise. And again, along with that, produce something that will invigorate the property with what typically Sunrise does, which is merchandising and creating a whole fandom around it. They're good at creating the fandom. I mean, Love Live is a prime example of that. And again, the Gundam franchise and everything else that they have. But again, my hope is for all this stuff is just to really re-spark something into Macross itself. Again, like I said before, technically, if you check Right Stuff right now, they still only have just the original Robotech listed. They don't have anything else listed, even though they're supposed to all get releases. I might have to prod my contact and say, dude, did you guys just the whole buyout of Sony and Right Stuff, they just scrapped the whole project? I know that probably Anime Limited probably released all the stuff they announced because they're decently quick about that stuff. But anyways, hope you guys enjoy this video. Let me know down in the comments down below what you think of this whole thing. Do you think this could spur up a new franchise? Do you think it's going to reinvigorate it? Are you a huge Macross fan and you're super excited for it? Do you have no hope because it's Sunrise? I don't know. Maybe the diehard Macross fans are like, gross. Sunrise? Gross. You never know. Additionally, if you're new to this channel, make sure that subscribe button's got my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, I have a Patreon link, tips link, super thanks, and membership button down below. I greatly appreciate what it does, and y'all take care.